and welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World, interview from Vilnius. Lithuania has recently held parliamentary elections. They ended up with a big blowout for the ruling Homeland Union Lithuanian Christian Democrat Political Party and a big win for Lithuanian Social Democratic Party. To discuss these elections and other related topics, we are joined today by the political scientist from Institute of International Relations and Political Science, Liutauras Gudžinskas. Hello, Liutauras, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, let's start from the basics. First of all, what are the most common problems and challenges for newly elected parliament, and which undone jobs has the old Lithuanian parliament left for the new one?
Well, for new elected parliament, of course, the first challenge is to form a ruling coalition. So far, it's not sure what will be the actual composition, although pre-electoral concerns that this coalition, that the parliament will be very fragmented. So these concerns maybe were not so, close to truth as it happened out. So we will see. But in general, of course, voters voted for the left parties, for the center-left parties. So by this, they expressed, I can assume, wish to change or to reform our social model.
Okay.
Which means that we have to talk about increase of redistribution. Public budget of Lithuania is one of the smallest within the European Union. Is equal to 32% of GDP. Both Social Democrats and the closest allies, Democrats Union, they are, and also the president, they are speaking that we need to increase this expenditure for meeting various demands. So on the one hand, we need to increase our military expenditure. On the other hand, we need to have more investments into healthcare, education, also social security systems. And that I think this is the key message that voters send to the parties who came to the Seimas.
Okay, now let's get a bit deeper. So, foreign policy. Should we expect any dramatic changes? For example, re-establishing relations with China, cut off support to Ukraine, anything else?
I would not expect very big changes. One reason is president, first of all, is responsible for forming and implementing foreign policy. And I think Nausėda will stick to current situation. And Social Democrats do not have any wish to change something significantly. On the contrary, the program emphasizes a lot Euro-Atlantic partnership, also support for Ukraine to enable Ukraine to win in this terrible war. Also, Social Democrats supports deepening of European integration, maybe even to a bigger extent than the Conservatives, the current government. Concerning China, I think this is the most interesting question.
Yes.
There could be some deliberations to shift. Social Democrats support restoring diplomatic relations with China. But of course, it's easier to say than to do this. Okay. Because you have to do this in a dignified manner. Because we talk about international relations. You cannot, even if you change a ruling party, you cannot immediately to say, no. Okay, what Lithuania agreed before, it's not valid anymore. We are now playing another game.
From the new list.
There will be very significant consequences if such a thing would happen. On the other hand, China, they could also understand this as a sign of weakness.
Okay.
So in general, I would assume that yes, Social Democrats will express the will to restore diplomatic relations, but
won't happen tomorrow.
And also not, how to say, without any conditions, etc. And concerning Taiwanese representation, at least in the program of Social Democrats, it says that we are in favor for maintaining this
relationship with Taiwanese representatives.
Yes, and this representation actually it doesn't have status of embassy. On the other hand, now currently geopolitical tensions are very big between China and USA, also between China and European Union. Everyone sees that China to some extent supports Russia. Of course, they try somehow to be a little bit cautious. They maybe try also not to be so, how to say, vocally supportive of Putin's regime, but nevertheless, one can easily observe that they invested in Russia quite a lot, and they battled vis-a-vis Ukraine. So in against this background, also it's not so easy to restore diplomatic relationship at full extent what has been already, let's say, before 2022.
Okay, domestic policy. How could domestic policy's issues impact Lithuanian foreign policy?
Maybe two important factors. One is everyone almost agrees that we need to increase defense expenditure. But on the other hand, if you increase financing of this policy, you need to make certain sacrifices. And we already talked that people actually, they are not satisfied with the current situation, with healthcare, education, etc. So in general, there will be important homework at domestic level to implement, for example, maybe taxation reform. Maybe also try to restructure some welfare policies in order to have more space for financing defense. So this is actually one direct link between domestic politics and foreign and security policies. For Lithuania, of course, it's why its defense spending is important. On the one hand, to build capacities,
to build a strong army.
Yes, in order to thwart certain threats. On the other hand, to signal Western partners, and especially USA, that we are
doing something here.
We are indeed we are taking seriously our own security within our borders. So one thing. Another thing, actually, if Ukraine, and we all hope for that, wins this war, and there will be negotiations will start for Ukraine's membership both in EU and NATO. There will be also important sacrifices that Lithuanian people will have to make. For example, if Ukraine joins European Union, there will be less financial assistance to Lithuania. We will have to somehow to divert European funds to Ukraine. Also,
which actually has to rebuild after the war.
Yes. So there will be also certain questions that will have to be solved both at domestic and also international levels.
Okay, so now the elections. According to the results of the election, one representative of the far-right National Association Party was elected to the Lithuanian parliament. So this is only one mandate of 141. But so should we be worried about this, or it's all good and the example of Germany's AfD is not our case?
Yeah, you probably you have in mind Vytautas Sinicas.
Exactly.
By the way, I was a student of him. He's quite a smart guy. He finished his PhD in philosophy. And what I see from his communication, from his rhetoric, so he's not so maybe extreme far-right guy. He tries somehow to balance his positions. On the other hand, I would say, looking for parliamentary history of Lithuania, we could see also some populist far-right figures. For example, Petras Gražulis, who is now in European Parliament. I think he was very vocal politician and making a lot of drama, and etc.
Yes, he was. Now he's making drama. Now he's making drama in European Parliament.
But I would say maybe bigger concern is Remigijus Žemaitaitis, who has, and his party Nemuno Aušra, Dawn of Nemunas, because he was recognized by Constitutional Court that his speeches had clear anti-Semitic tones, and he's not shy about that. He says that he feels that he was right, correct, etc. And what we can see also from his program, from this party program, they also are rather nationalistic, and they will have 20 parliamentarians. So we will see how much they will be Eurosceptic, how much will be nationalistic. In Lithuania, differently from many other countries in the region, to be so vocal about bad things in Europe or be very critical against West is not very easy option, because you very quickly become associated with pro-Russian, pro-Kremlin.
And that's my next question, Kremlin's project. So according to some political analysts, we had at least a few political parties that showed favor towards Kremlin. So some of those political parties got a few mandates in the new parliament, so the one that you've already mentioned. So how much of an issue is that? And what if those political parties get a chance to form a new government?
Yeah, we definitely could see that in election campaign, Russia played some role. They had some politicians, some parties like Vaitkus, who clearly represented
Kremlin's mouthpiece,
its ideas. But in general, we can see that they largely lost this election, and this is a marked contrast vis-a-vis other countries in the region, like Moldova or Georgia, where we could see that Russia was rather successful in influencing political process, election process, etc. So I would say that this election is a sign of Lithuanian resilience, of the informational security, the resilience of the democratic institutions against attempts on behalf of Russia. Of course, it's a matter of degree. There are some, how to say, some worrisome trends,
some dodgy politicians.
But yes, all in all, I would say that the overall outcome is rather bright, I would say, and not, at least not so gloomy as maybe some analysts could
expect.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hope those next 4 years will be good for Lithuania and for the whole region in general.
Let's hope too.
Yeah. Liutauras, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really hope to see you once again.
Thank you very much, Paul.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was a political scientist from Institute of International Relations and Political Science, Liutauras Gudžinskas. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.